Hello, I'm Senate President Karen Spilka. I wanted to thank all of you for your ongoing efforts to engage and guide both business and political leadership during this very challenging time. As you all know, the spread of the coronavirus in the United States and with the declaration of the state of emergency in Massachusetts, it has created a situation unlike we've ever seen before. As at the state leadership, Governor Baker, Speaker DeLeo, and I have been united, totally united in our belief that our first priority is the health and safety of our residents. And in saying that, I would like to thank all of the frontline healthcare workers, especially in MetroWest, who are caring for those who are sick, whether it be COVID-19 related or other illnesses. And I also applaud the healthcare infrastructure we have here in Massachusetts, which was able to mobilize to meet the demand, especially now that we are in the surge. Our immediate concern clearly is the public health crisis and doing what we feel is necessary to keep people safe. And that is our long-term goal, along with the challenge to address the economic fallout of this unprecedented situation. This work, though, has already begun and will continue for some time. The Senate has adopted a new normal by being as nimble, proactive, and communicative as a chamber designed hundreds of years ago to be a deliberative body. Starting on day one of this crisis, I formed a comprehensive Senate communication and involvement plan, including a very robust COVID-19 Senate working group led ably by the Senate Chair of Public Health, Joe Comerford. The Senate working group is tasked with identifying, prioritizing, and making recommendations on how to respond to this immediate crisis and relative to the COVID-19 outbreak. It functions also as a communications structure that allows senators to raise issues of concern from their communities, which can either be passed to the subgroups, there are 7 different subgroups for possible legislative action, or raised to me to bring to the attention of the administration. Thanks to this structure, senators can then quickly disseminate information about our work at the state level back to their respective constituents, communities, and businesses. The working group also offers briefings to the entire Senate on issues of importance, such as preparations for the surge as it was approaching us, a discussion with medical experts and epidemiologists to explore our path forward out of this immediate crisis. And there was a recent discussion with AIM, the Associated Industries of Massachusetts, on economic issues facing our small businesses. Since early March, I'd like to highlight that the Senate has completed and passed, and I will highlight some of these bills, provided $15 million in funds to deal with the COVID-19 crisis, waived the 1-week waiting period for unemployment benefits, postponed municipal and special elections, and expanded early voting and vote-by-mail options for those elections, passed a bill to halt evictions and foreclosures, and I'm proud it is the strongest moratorium in the nation, which helps renters, homeowners, small businesses, and nonprofits. We passed a bill to expand the scope of practice for healthcare providers, passed a number of measures allowing for increased flexibility on the municipal level. We waived the MCAS requirement for the school year and allowed for the Department of Early Education of Education to adjust the competency determination process. We extended the personal income tax deadline, I hope you know, from April 15th to July 15th. We addressed the need for changes to the nomination signature threshold. We provided medical liability protections. We continued to address issues related to unemployment insurance and including making sure that employers' experience ratings are not affected by the current crisis. And just this past week, we passed bills allowing for virtual notaries, strengthening local and regional public health systems, and providing assistance for the most vulnerable populations. In addition, Speaker DeLeo and I released a statement addressing the disparate impacts of COVID-19 on communities of color in Massachusetts, and we continued to work on that issue. So as you can see, we are continuing to work hard and very diligently to address this crisis. Obviously, the most pressing question on a lot of people's minds for all of us is what comes next. And the honest answer is that we don't exactly know yet. But I have stated many times before, periods of change and uncertainty provide us with periods of opportunities. And I can tell you that the Senate plans to take those opportunities to be intentional about how we move forward. When it comes to opening up the state and deciding when it's safe for all of us to leave our houses, let me be clear. We will rely solely on the advice of healthcare and public health experts to ensure that we are acting in the very best interests of our residents. But we will also be working with economic experts, business leaders like you, and our partners in local, state, and the federal government to support our economy as we move beyond the immediate public health crisis towards what I believe will probably be a phased-in reopening. We began this work a few weeks ago when Senate Ways and Means Chair Mike Rodrigues and his counterparts in the House and the administration convened an economic roundtable where we learned that experts are predicting the state to have between a $4 billion to $6 billion revenue drop. And although I remain extremely proud of the $3+ billion in the rainy day fund that we've built up over the years, it's clear to me that there's no going back to the old normal at this point. I was chair of economic development during the big last recession, and the bill that we passed in 2010 to help kickstart the economy again was the result of listening to what businesses, workers, and those looking for work felt that they needed. And I plan to take that approach again together with Economic Development Chair Eric Lesser. MetroWest, and I'm really proud that MetroWest has long been an economic engine for the state. And that's a clear reflection of your spirit, your determination, and your resiliency. The collaboration we've seen between businesses, sharing ideas and resources to help one another is a testament to that. Many of you are entrepreneurs, self-employed, and working on your own with just a few employees. And I know you are doing everything you can to get through this. I know how hard it is to run a small business. I had a small business. My husband had his own small engineering business. I know how difficult things can be. And it's clear to me that we need more support for our small businesses. After pushing hard on our federal delegation the past 2 weeks, I'm glad that the recently passed federal stimulus bill included $310 billion, including $60 billion directed towards minority and women-owned businesses, as well as funding for rural and small businesses. I'm particularly happy that Congress heeded our call to streamline lending access to smaller banks. And you have been heroes too in giving our main streets a second chance. Thank you for that. And we need to help you continue to do that. Massachusetts banking institutions processed 47,000 loans in 13 days, as many loans as they usually process in 13 years. In addition, they're helping to counsel businesses through the application process. So thank you for working in overdrive. But I know it hasn't been easy. I know the application system and distribution of these loans has been really frustrating. I've heard from many of you, which is why I continue to aggressively advocate for a more uniform process, especially as Congress contemplates another round of funding for our businesses and our cities and towns, which I will fight equally hard for. Sadly, in the meantime, more small businesses could fall through the cracks, and I believe we cannot let this happen. So as we examine the latest round of funding and look for ways to address these critical gaps, I hope that you will let me know what more can be done to help these small businesses as we continue to move through this crisis and hopefully out of this crisis. As we look to the future with an eye towards someday getting back to or going forward to work, we must use this crisis as an opportunity to reimagine what we will be when we move forward. As I have said before, all policy must be viewed through the lens of economic development. And that is why I am determined we get to the governor's desk the Senate legislation that we've already passed addressing healthcare, mental health care, climate change, and we will do some transportation, especially a transportation bond bill. I know how critically important transportation is for the MetroWest, and we need to help fund projects in public transportation, our RTAs, our commuter rail, etc., and our roads and bridges. We need to fix our roads and bridges. I also believe this is an opportunity for us to address the issue of early education and care, which has emerged as a major economic development priority for so many parents. It's critical if they are able to return to work. As I have said many times before, if any state can come out of adversity and be stronger for it, it is Massachusetts. I love this state. I love the MetroWest, and I am so appreciative of our can-do spirit, our willingness to help each other, and how quickly we have come together to tackle the big issues and challenges that this crisis has presented. The new normal will be hard in a lot of ways, but it will also be necessary. And as we create this new normal, we must do so through a diversity, equity, and inclusion framework in every aspect of our economy and our civic life. I thank you again for all that you do. I hope you and your families are staying safe, staying healthy and well, and I look forward to working with you as we all look ahead to a safe reopening of our Commonwealth. Thank you very much.